Yo, guys, so here's my Michael movie review. The movie, I had a good time with the movie. I had fun. The musical numbers, the music. I was jamming with the movie. I think just because of the hype and like the out theater, I was like, oh my god, it was a 10 out of 10. But thinking about it, it's more like a 7.5, 7, 8 out of 10. Look, the movie, both sides are right. The movie isn't great, but the movie also isn't is is also like amazing, if that makes sense. It's like the perfect middle. I do see the issues with the film. There is pacing issues, which I think is like the big one really. I do know there was stuff that was left out from Michael's younger age, like his history and all that, his like personal story. But that was due to like, from what I understand, legal issues and all that, so they couldn't put that in the movie, which I understand, right? So I know there was stuff missing, but the movie we did get, besides like the pacing issue, which I think is really the big one, it was great. It was great. The musical numbers, they hit. The last like 20 minutes of the movie, I was like jamming in my seat, especially with the song choice they chose. I was like, okay. I was like, oh. And for me, with every biopic, especially of an artist, I'm always learning something new. I'm not a big Michael Jackson like fanatic. I didn't grow up listening to his music. I was raised with a very religious Hispanic mother, so secular music was a no go. But obviously, once I started getting older, I did start listening to secular music. You know, regular music. I'm not gonna call it secular, even though it is through the religious point of view. I'm not gonna get into that, but I fell in love with his music growing up. Like once I started listening to like his stuff, I'm like, I understand. I'm not like a fanatic, but like I'm a fan of his music. But in this film, I personally learned a lot, and we went with my dad who grew up, watching, listening to him and all that, and my sister's boyfriend who loves his music, grew up listening to his stuff too. And there was stuff in the film that happened that I even checked with my sister's boyfriend. He's like, I'm like, did that really happen? He's like, yeah, bro, that actually happened. I was like, oh, like I was like, I learned a lot, and I guess everyone knows about his life except me because everyone's like, well, they didn't do this, and I'm like, what? I'm like, come on. um, but the big standouts, Jafar Jackson, he really embodies Michael Jackson. From his music videos to like clips I've seen of him and all this online, YouTube, and all that, he really brings Michael Jackson to life. And one thing this movie did do right and did, for me, was I feel like I have FOMO, like fear I've missed out. You know, I think I did like a little joke and I was like, oh, I wish I was born sooner because imagine seeing Michael Jackson live. And that's how it felt each time you saw him in the movie perform. I felt like I was watching Michael Jackson. Like, I felt like he was right there, like his presence was there. And I was like, man, imagine seeing Michael Jackson, the king of pop, live. Unfortunately, like imagine like if he was still here, like all the like the songs, all this. It was crazy, and that I feel like the movie really did good on that part. It made me feel like I missed out on something historic, something iconic, if that makes sense. The music choices, his acting was great. Coleman Domingo, I've been falling in love with this guy and his career and all that. Since Euphoria, Sing Sing was really the one that got me hooked onto him. He gives a great job as Michael's dad, Joe, and the struggle between them is the through point from the beginning to the end of this film. And you grow to hate Joe, like you see where he's coming from at the beginning, but then over time throughout the film, you're like, damn, like that guy's low key. He's abusive, Um, And there was a touching moment in the hospital with him, with Michael and his mom, which I low-key teared up. I didn't cry, but I teared up. It got to me. And like I said, this movie, besides some pacing issues, was great. I want to go see it again because the music was just, you were just jamming, you know? And yeah, that is my Michael review. Like I said, it's 7.5 out of 10. It really is an experience, and I really wish they did like 1 and 2 back to back because they're obviously going to do his like later years, the second half of his career, with like more of his hits. But gosh, like that was a movie. It was an experience. It really transported you back in time to feel like you were witnessing him live, if that makes sense. But yeah, until the next time, until my next review, I'll catch you guys later.